Welcome to the program. Now, the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party is asking party members to close ranks to rescue the country, as the governing All Progressives Congress has failed Nigerians by sinking the economy. The PDP BOT also says it is shocked by the monumental corruption and alleged unbridled treasury looting in the APC-led administration, especially the looting of billions of naira meant for palliatives for poor and vulnerable Nigerians, which has contributed to rising poverty, leading to protests in some cities. This comes after PDP governors lamented the rising cost of living and insecurity in the country, and the party is asking the federal government to address the economic hardship.
At the moment, definitely there is a lot of despondency, disgruntlement, anger and hunger, and we will make sure that at the end of the day we don't do the blame game. We make sure we just provide alternative with strategies, with timelines and so on and so forth, so that we'll do it with studies and with all of us.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has condemned statements attributed to the governors elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, where their chairman, Governor Bala Mohammed, described the country's economic and security situation as unbearable. Idris, who described the outburst as playing to the gallery, accused the opposition governors of an attempt to manipulate facts and misinform Nigerians about the country's true state of affairs. He maintained that the country is going through some rough patches which are being addressed by the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and Nigeria's situation is nowhere near what is happening in Venezuela. According to him, Nigeria's economy is expected to record a 3% GDP growth this year. Well, for more on this, I'm now being joined in the studio by Kola Ologbodiyan, who is a former National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party. He's also a former Special Advisor on Media to former Senate President David Mark and a former House of Representatives aspirant. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Somna. Good evening. On your program is Happy New Year. Even though we are in February.
Yes, indeed. I mean, there are lots of developments in the main opposition party, and then, of course, we've seen your BOT meeting today after a very long period of time. Yeah. I think the last time they met was when they actually adopted Wabara as the acting BOT chairman, and today he's been made the substantive BOT chairman. Talk to us about this communique that came out from the BOT of your party today, and it's so strong, hitting hard at the APC-led federal government, including your governors, I mean, not sparing anything at all, and they said that we're on the way to Venezuela. But of course, you would have heard the information minister's response saying that, look, you're all playing to the gallery. How do you react? I
do not agree that the party is playing to the gallery. I believe, and I know, and most Nigerians out there also know, that the People's Democratic Party emanates from the people themselves. It's a party that belongs to the people. And the party is representational of the views and opinions of the Nigerian people. And as such, what they have come out to speak to, and I mean the BOT as well as the PDP Governors Forum, the issues that they have come out to address are the germane issues that are bothering the ordinary Nigerians out there. And it is expected of the party at this critical time in the life of our nation to come out in a bipartisan manner without being needlessly critical to say, look, we are endangered as a people, and even the government is endangered, and the time is now to address the pertinent issues of insecurity, issues of hunger, rising costs, inflation. Look, it looks as if our country internally is under a siege. People are hungry.
Yeah, but can the PDP actually divorce itself from what's going on in Nigeria? Because you have governors. All these governors are elected officials. You also have members of the National Assembly who are in government. Though the party may not be at the center, but nonetheless, you have people in government. So what exactly are these governors also doing to contribute to reducing the challenges of the economy and security?
Yeah, thank you. The PDP governors did not run away from the fact that they are a part and parcel of governors. If you look through the communique from the governors, from the PDP Governors Forum, they were clear that the federal government needs to work in consultation with the subnational governors. How else would they have expressed a readiness? How else would they have shown the fact that they are a part of government? But you must agree to one thing, and as a people we have to agree to that the level of powers is controlled by the APC, which is at the center. So I think the PDP governors did not run away from the fact that, look, we are part of government, but can you provide a lead for us by working directly with the subnationals so that we can have a direction as a people? And truly, when people say that, oh, the governors don't feel the impact, I don't seem to believe, I don't seem to agree, because the first contact of Nigerians is in their respective states. The governors are under their own heat, but you cannot absorb the federal government, who has the bulk of whatever is coming in, and who also determine to a large extent how these things go around. So they must provide the lead. And if you recall, when Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was sworn in as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, he didn't say that he begged for the job and that he doesn't need any help. And if you compare his own administration and his own posturings to what we have had in this country in the past, you discover that there are times in which past presidents will look at the enormity of the issues. They will go out on their own, go and scout for Nigerians who possibly could have answers to the challenges that the country is facing. We haven't seen that in this administration.
Oh, are you saying that the government is populated more by APC members who are not seeing the road clearly?
Well, I don't belong to the APC. I'm in the PDP, but I hope that the government itself is populated by the APC member. I hope it's not populated by a cult that is more vast than what we had under Buhari.
Well, they said they also had some technocrats who are helping the government out. Kola, talk to us about how we've seen Nigeria's fortunes actually dwindle since 2015, when the PDP exited power. Nigerians are beginning to make the PDP look like a saint. When we all knew that when the PDP was in power too, it was very arrogant with power, just the way the APC seems to be doing at some point.
The PDP had never been arrogant with power.
You think so?
Yes,
so
I
why was
so.
it booted out of power in 2015?
Apart from the comment made by a party chairman, Ogbolafor, where he declared that PDP will rule for so and so number of years. I know for sure that PDP, as a party of the people, is always in collaboration with the people. Look, in one of your in the morning show not too long ago, I recall the fact that under President Goodluck Jonathan, the total budget of the National Assembly was 125 billion. And President Goodluck Jonathan insisted that the budget had to be reduced. And I remember that it was reduced, I think that was under the leadership of Senator David Mark, it was reduced to like 105 billion. But what do we have today? A situation in which Nigerians are languishing, a situation in which every home is bleeding and hurting. A National Assembly raised their budget by almost 75% in one budgetary year. Such things have never been known in our history. And even when we go back, the PDP was pointing out the fact that, look, the Buhari administration was using ways and means. I remember the Edo State governor screaming on top of his voice and said this money that we are spending was being printed. It's ways and means. So at every point in time, the PDP has always been with the people. It has also shown cause to say that, look, we have the experience as a political party. We have been there before you. Why don't you go through this path and see how we can better the lives of the ordinary Nigerians?
Well, the APC says you only have experience in corruption. And so the finger pointing that you're doing now, that billions are being allegedly looted in the APC-led federal government and all of that, are things that you don't have facts about. All these allegations that you are more experienced on corruption matters. That's why you focus on issues of embezzlement.
Nigerians, as we speak today, like we say in the local parlance where I come from, in Kaba, they have lifted the water and they have lifted the oil. And they know which is heavier. If you accuse PDP of corruption, the kind of mindless corruption that we are witnessing in the country today, did it happen under the People's Democratic Party? If you and I now,
well,
tomorrow
some Nigerians will
morning,
disagree with you on that.
If you and I tomorrow morning go on a vox pop at Wuse Market and say between PDP and APC, which is most corrupt, the answer is clear now.
So why were you not voted back to the presidency in 2023?
In 2023, did we have an election?
Well, let's get into the meat of the issue that we have here. Now, the PDP is actually saying that APC hasn't done well. Now, Nigerians are saying that, look, provide alternatives. Don't just criticize. What would you do if you were in government? Not just to lament, actually. What are the things, policy alternatives, and all of that? That the PDP should be offering?
I just provided one as we are sitting here. I said, under the leadership of PDP administration, that the president elected under those period went out of their way to go and scout for Nigerians who could help the economy. Don't forget that it was under PDP that we had a global recession and our nation did not fall into that recession. Don't forget. I hope you can remember. And I said that, look, under the leadership of the PDP, they went scouting for notable Nigerians who were doing well. Okonjo Iweala, Akinwumi Adesina, just you can go ahead and keep naming them that were brought into governance to create a system of government that will do well for the ordinary Nigerians out there. But what we are saying is this: we haven't seen that under the APC, whether under President Muhammadu Buhari or under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We haven't seen that. Well, and I don't want us to I don't want to listen to people who are even trying to say, oh, Tinubu is different from Buhari. I do not think Nigerians.
Well, of course, you will have heard that statement by Oshomole that people are suffering from the effects of Buhari's policies. Comrade is always
and
of course, a lot of Nigerians were.
Comrade is always playing the politics of convenience.
Yeah.
When Buhari was in government, he said Jonathan was responsible for the pains. It was convenient for him.
I'm very sure some of you are happy now.
Now that Buhari is out of it and his friend Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is in charge, he say, oh, it's Buhari. That's politics. That's not honesty to the people. And for a man who has been in the leadership of the labor union, I would expect him to say, look, we have a challenge. Don't come and say that it's not this person. We have a challenge. And we need to, and that is why I wonder what the leadership of the National Assembly is doing. You are calling people, you are calling the Minister of Finance, you are calling this, you are calling that. What have you brought out of it?
Well, haven't they been approving almost all the bills that are coming?
Of course they have.
From the presidency.
And see, that is part of the challenge that we have in the country. Since 2020, since the Saraki's Senate, you have seen a situation in which a Senate president will stand up and say that, oh, whatever bill, whatever is brought from the executive, we will pass it. And
your lawmakers hardly oppose those bills too, because you also have lawmakers in both chambers of National Assembly.
Even if we have, do we control the majority of votes? We don't control the majority of votes in the other of the parliament. We don't. And if you take that away, how can you have a system in which the National Assembly will say that whatever is brought by the executive will be passed? And when you want to tell them that, no, you can't do that, they tell you that, oh, no, they are doing a collaborative government. I agree with them that you can do collaborative governance. But it doesn't mean that you should not discern between what is good for the people and what is awful.
Well, the federal government, through the Minister of Information, also said that despite all the bad sides of your communique earlier today, but that there are some good sides of it, and that the federal government has accepted the fact that the PDP says it's willing to do some bipartisan partnership on issues of security and economy. Talk to us now about if President Tinubu is overwhelmed and he really needs help.
If you look at what we have been saying from the beginning of this program, what we have said clearly is that this government is overwhelmed. It needs help. And I have brought out the fact that in time past, that when the country finds herself in situations like this, the leadership go out to look for those Nigerians who have the ability and the capacity, the knowledge and the wherewithal to make a difference. You don't sit in there and wear an air of arrogance, of knowing it all, and plunge the country into crisis.
They say it's just 8 months and Tinubu hasn't really settled down very well.
But is it not disturbing that within 8 months, the president is being mocked all over the social media for failure of policy? Is it not worrisome?
Yeah, and the ruling APC says that opposition parties are sponsoring protests across the country.
They are being dishonest. And that is why Nigerians by themselves are coming out to say that nobody is sponsoring. Look, you need to sponsor hunger. Can anybody sponsor hunger?
Well,
as we are seated here now, if you and I are hungry, does it require the person out of here to tell us that we are hungry?
I'm very sure you recall when President Tinubu went to the Lagos Central Mosque to pray. I mean, you're a Yoruba person. You could hear what people were saying.
In fact, as a matter of fact, that dimension was very worrisome. For those who understand the politics of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for those who know his ties and links on the Lagos Island, for the people of the, and I think he knows, but the people of the island to have come, were they instigated?
Well, your colleagues at the presidential media team say all these issues looks like being sponsored against the president.
How can we are talking about the people who are even saying this are just practicing officialdom, because they themselves, in one form or the other, they are hungry. If they are not hungry, they know how much they use to fund their vehicles, because I know that it's not government that is funding their own vehicles.
Yeah, and they said these are some of the necessary sacrifices we have
sacrifices,
to pay.
Look, if Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu on May 29 had said that I will look into the issue of subsidy, certainly I will look into it, without making any declarative statement, we wouldn't have found ourselves where we are. Well, but by coming out and saying that subsidy, without even reading any, without even citing his standing over note.
He said even your own presidential candidate actually promised to remove fuel
subsidy. I've said this on Money,
including Peter Obi.
I've said this on Money Show. I agree that every presidential candidate spoke to the issue of subsidy. But I know it as a fact that on the day that the Arise Television organized a debate, Atiku Abubakar was very clear on the model of subsidy he was going to adopt. You recall he did say that, and I don't want us to reduce this matter now to issue of Atiku Bola Tinubu. No, because Nigeria is under pains as we are speaking. So we must all come up and look at and find solution for ourselves and for the generations that will come after us. Yeah. But Atiku was very clear and unambiguous. He did say that, look, before we left government in 2007, we had already implemented 2 steps of the subsidy, but subsequent government didn't follow up. If he got elected, it will do subsidy, but it's going to be phased. He didn't say he will come into government and do a wholesome subsidy. And they said no. He was lying. Okay, Nigerians are the one going through the pain, the pangs of absolute removal in one straight line.
And do you think that President Tinubu has been demystified politically? Because, I mean, lots of Nigerians during the campaigns were just being told that this guy is a master strategist. Just vote for him. Let him get there. He has studied the polity for a long period of time. And people are waiting, including some members of the APC. And they're like, where's the renewed hope, actually?
You didn't say that. I can recall what happened on the Lagos Island, Ebin Power. Now I can recall it.
People were saying that we are hungry. I mean,
simply
that they are hungry.
Actually. Simply, outside that, Somna, when last did you see Nigerians wearing a Asiwaju's cap with the logo? Batified. No, that is how. Are
you saying that his own supporters are ashamed of him?
To me,
is that what you're saying?
To me, that is a major feedback mechanism. It is a major feedback mechanism.
Yeah, because his own media team have actually been dealing with the opposition coming from the northern establishment, and of course, but I mean, you and I were having a conversation, and you keep insisting that look, even the South, the opposition against Tinubu from the Southwest is something that has been underreported.
It's more alarming.
And you say it's underreported.
Yes.
Why do you think it's underreported, actually?
It's underreported. Okay. Why did the chief of staff, Honorable Femi Gbadabe, why did he come out and say that, oh, they will have to moderate social media? What do you think was responsible for that? It's because on almost a per second, there are skits denouncing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In fact, his own major supporters, that people know that, oh, this is a follower, they are coming and are making skits to say that enough. And you know, when Ekmobayo Nanuga came here yesterday and was talking about northern protest, that's why at the end of the session I engaged in a conversation with you. Why are you talking about northern? Is hunger a northern issue? Are there no people hungry in Lagos that are complaining? You don't find them in Ibadan. People are hungry everywhere.
Well, the federal government says,
and they are blaming the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The federal government says you're playing to the gallery, because if the PDP were to be in power, the indices will almost look like the same.
No,
but with the naira,
we will not have floated. Look, we will not have floated the naira at the same time when you did an absolute removal of subsidy. Look, where are the shock absorbers? Where are they among Nigerians? The other Nigerians there. Sumner, I come from a village and I visit my village regularly. People can no longer go to farm.
And that's what I was asking Bayo Nanuga yesterday, if he's aware, if the president is aware that
people cannot go to farm. The insecurity is so pervasive that you are even afraid to even go out of your home, talk less of going farming. You go farming, you have the challenge of headers. That one is there. Well, you have the challenge of the local thieves who are going to harvest your yam before it is even ripe. You also have the challenge, honestly, you also have the challenge of kidnappers.
All right, Kola Ologbodiyan, just before I let you go, let's talk about the PDP itself. Your own house is not in order.
Who said?
In 60 seconds, talk to me about how there's already a court case against the PDP for failing to actually hold a National Executive Committee meeting. And then, of course, over time, you have an acting chairman for a long period of time. It looks like the party is divided against, towards pro-Wike and pro-Atiku and all of that.
Sumner.
How soon will the PDP put its house in order?
Sumner, I don't agree that the issue of not holding NEC in the court, the constitution of the party is very clear, it's unambiguous. There are people who hold the responsibility of calling for NEC, and when they fail to call for NEC, the constitution of the party also provides for modality by which NEC can be called. But that is because since you say it's in court, I will not talk about that. But I can assure you that today, apart from the confirmation of Senator Adolphus Wabara as chairman of BOT and the confirmation of a former governor of Kaduna State, Senator Ahmed McAfee, as the secretary of BOT. I also have reports that Senator David Mark has been made the chairman of reconciliation committee in the BOT. So, by and large, I believe that and don't forget that the governors forum had also said that, look, they will now get involved and ensure that the party is revitalized. So I believe that with all this, in the weeks and the months ahead, the party will find itself.
Yeah, and you were saying that the APC can be booted out of power, and will PDP be the alternative in 10 seconds?
No, PDP,
because there's already a third leg to politics in Nigeria, Labour Party and others.
But we had
you think you'll be the alternative?
You know, I don't engage in this Labour Party PDP issue. We had election in a recent time.
Yeah, the rerun and by-elections.
The rerun and by-elections. You know it as a fact that PDP and APC were head-to-head in that election. That tells us something about the party. The People's Democratic Party is not going to go down for APC. I can assure you of that.
All right. Well, we must thank you so much, because this is a party that was already thinking of rebranding at some point, with some people calling for a change of name until some of the stakeholders had to stick to this PDP.
There are always situations like that.
But
you know, the PDP is very democratic, and it allows for various opinions to come up within the party. You understand? So, but at the end of the day, is managed.
All right. We must thank you so much, Kola Ologbodiyan, the
Thank you
chieftain
very
of the
much.
People's Democratic Party, former National Publicity Secretary. Thank you so much for helping us to understand all these issues. And if PDP does ever get back to power, I hope you will actually do better than what we are saying.
The PDP is doing better now. We'll do better and better and better.